What's going on YouTube? Ryan Alex back from Dopamon again. Today, we look at Team Russian Olympic Committees. um, Announced final roster, their players, who they are, what possible line combinations could they be, what they could bring to the team, stuff like that. Yeah, we're going to go through all of Team Russia for the upcoming Winter Olympic Games in Beijing, happening just in a couple weeks.
And if you have been keeping along with this series that we've been doing, we've been following the announcement of all the Olympic national teams. So far, Czechia, Finland, Russia, Slovakia, Sweden, Switzerland, U.S., and Canada, and now Russia. We've all covered, and we're gonna do the last few. So stick around. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you're into hockey, because this is dope.
Yeah, for sure. And just to jump right into it, our goaltenders for this tournament weren't in doubt, I don't think. They
Nope.
were kind of half announced like a month ago, but we got
Hmm.
Ivan Fedotov, Timur Bilyalov, and Alexander Samonov. Ivan Fedotov. Ivan Fedotov is 6'8". He's a big guy. 25 years old, 6'8", 2015 seventh round pick of the Philadelphia Flyers. Doesn't have incredible numbers, but he's played well for Russia in the past. Timur Bilyalov is a solid number two. A lot smaller. He's 5'10", 26 years old, but has just as good numbers in the KHL for Akbar's Kazan. And Alexander Samonov, another young goalie at SKA St. Petersburg, not having a great year, but did play really well in the World Championships for Russia last year. Had a 944 save percentage in 6 games. That's probably why they brought him back. But yeah, I think their goaltending is pretty solid. Obviously, they had last Olympic Games. I believe they had both Sorokin and Shesterkin in net,
Hmm.
although they
Hmm.
didn't play a whole lot. Yeah. Nah, we'll see if any one of these guys sneak into the NHL now because they are shown off a little bit by Russia at the Olympics.
And all three of these guys have been like the main goaltenders that Russia's used for both the Kerala Cup and the Channel One Cup for the past 2 months, November and December, those two cups. So it's really no surprise that outside the NHL, that these three are the guys, and take your pick. Really, I think anyone. I feel like we both agree. I guess Ivan Fedotov is going to be, probably the starter, but any one of them could get the nod.
Absolutely.
And that brings us to our first D pair. We have Nikita Nesterov and Vyacheslav Voinov. Yeah, that's Slava Voinov for those of you North American audiences that know him by that name. Nikita Nesterov, of course, he is a former Tampa Bay Lightning. I To be honest, I've loved his game since he left the NHL. He got one more chance with Calgary, but just couldn't quite get there. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like he's a guy that maybe could get another contract, but it's maybe more about money for him and role and where he likes being a number one guy with the CSKA Moscow. So we have him being a number one guy here as well. He's a guy that puts up like 24 minutes a night, and he's got, great experience playing with Tampa, and we have him playing with a guy who has a lot of experience himself scoring, a Slava Voinov, who was, of course, uh, kicked out of the league,
Yeah,
so he
essentially.
can't play. But I think that he very well could be still playing. He's one of the best defensemen in Russia, if not the best right now playing in Russia.
Yeah, definitely one of the better defensemen skill wise outside of the NHL, and two-time Stanley Cup champion with the LA Kings.
Hmm.
So he
Hmm.
does bring a lot to Russia. So we'll see how he's utilized. Probably their best defenseman out there anyway. Our
Yeah,
second,
even in those playoffs, he played a really key role. I think that in tournaments, he's always played a key role as well, and he's gonna have like be a part of every highlight reel and be a polarizing figure.
Oh,
10 years out of this incident.
yep, absolutely. Second pairing, we have Yegor, Yakovlev, and Artyom Minulin. This line, I believe, plays together in Metallurg Magnitogorsk of the KHL. Start with Yakovlev. So they're actually line mates. They play together. This is a pairing. I mean, you don't bring teammates to the Olympics and then split them up. It'd be kind of insane. But who knows with Russia, to be completely honest. They've done some questionable things the last couple years internationally with players. We can get to that on this team, but a couple of notable exceptions not on this team that you can go over later there, Alex. But
Yeah.
I think a solid little second pair anyway.
I like these two. They have some chemistry together, and we've been talking through this entire series. A lot of these national teams have brought guys. They've picked two or three guys have played together, and they've done that throughout their entire roster, and it's been easier for us to put lines together because there's like a lot of like obvious chemistry. But for these lines, it's a little bit different. They've been mixed up a lot. They've played together, but they've also played apart, and it's kind of weird. So who knows what Russia could do for this one? They might toss them up in the blender again, and we might be completely wrong.
Yep, we'll find out.
Yeah. So for our third pairing, we have on the left Alexander Nikishin, and on the right Alexander Yelesin. Yelesin is currently has like the contract rights to the Calgary Flames. He's unsigned, but they do own his rights. So if he's gonna come back to the NHL after his KHL contract expires at the end of this year, it would be to Calgary, I believe. He's playing pretty well. I'm surprised that they let him come over and didn't want to keep him in the AHL. I guess he kind of fought for some money. Maybe that might have been a thing, why they didn't re-sign him to Calgary, because I thought he was all right as a prospect. And on the left, a guy that I absolutely love, Alexander Nikishin. I think he's one of the best Russian defensive prospects outside the NHL right now. 6'4", 216 pounds. He's big and knows how to use his size, and he's learning how to like play in both ends of the zone. But he's getting better all the time, and I think that this is a huge opportunity for him to step up and play a huge game. I know that during the Channel One Cup, he was the alternate captain. So I'd love to see him get maybe have a nice role at this tournament as well, and show the a young 20-year-old on Russia's team. Like it seems kind of that's unheard of. Russia seems to avoid playing younger players. I've noticed.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. And you convinced me into putting Nikishin on the top six because of
Hmm.
that, because you like him so much. But I had one of our extra guys who I like him play very much, and Damir, Sharipzyanov, and Sergei Telegin as our extra defenseman. Sharipzyanov, I think, is a pretty solid player. He's a left shot, 25 years old. Doesn't put up a whole lot of points.
That's not right.
That's our mock draft. 10 points. Avangard Omsk, 39 games this year. So he played well in the playoffs for Avangard last year, and he's a player that could really sneak into this lineup, I think. And Sergei Telegin, our last Telegin, I believe, actually, our last extra, 21 years old, so another younger guy, playing for Traktor in the KHL. Not a big points guy, but plays well over there. Yeah.
And those were our defensive pairings, and that brings us to our forwards. Our first forward line. This is another, we had to toss these ones in the blender a little bit, but we finally agreed on the left, Sergei Plotnikov, down the middle, Vadim Shipashev, and on the right, Andrei Chibasov. Uh, Shipashev should be a name that you're all familiar with. He's won an Olympic gold before. He's won a Gagarin Cup before. He's played most recently with the Vegas Golden Knights. There's a controversy over him wanting more time, wanting to be a top six kind of guy. Vegas didn't want to give it to him, so he went back to the KHL, and he has been lighting it up. He might be the best forward, if he absolutely is the best forward in the KHL right now, best Russian forward outside the NHL, and he's been captain of his team for 3 years for a reason. Brings a huge factor, and I think that he's going to be like maybe one of the lead scorers in this tournament.
Yeah, 67 points in 48 games in the KHL and a generally
Hmm.
lower scoring league than the NHL is no joke. Um, we flipped back and forth between the left side. Sergei Plotnikov on the left side here, Alex. 31 years old, a little bit of NHL experience with Pittsburgh and Arizona. 27 points in Moscow this year. And Andrei Chibisov, who has experience playing with Vadim Shipachev. Um,
That Channel One
yep.
Cup in December, they played together on the top line. So not a lot of this team. When you're putting it together, you got to worry about chemistry, and we figured we put them together. Why not?
Speaking of chemistry, our second line here now is Archer Kayamov, Artem Anisimov, and Nikita Gusev. Nikita Gusev, I guess, went back to Russia after this year, or after last year, sorry, after a failed trial contract with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Couldn't get an NHL job. 5'9", smaller. Uh, was one of the bigger names coming over from Russia a couple years ago. Had 82 points in 62 games for SKA St. Petersburg. Went over to New Jersey. Didn't quite have it in Jersey. Got traded to Florida. Put up decent numbers, but is now back with SKA St. Petersburg and is doing his thing over there. So we were gonna put him on the first line, but we wanted to split up Shipachev and Gusev just because they play a very similar style of game, and we felt he fit a little better with Artem Anisimov, 33-year-old center, a lot of NHL experience, a lot of world experience. Chicago Blackhawks alum, Ottawa Senators alum for you, playing with Lokomotiv Yaroslavl. Artur Kayamov just rounds out this line, 23-year-old left winger, unsigned prospect from Chicago, also playing in Lokomotiv Yaroslavl. That's why we have those two on the same line. Yeah, I think a solid second line.
Yeah, Kayamov and Anisimov, they do play as line mates in the KHL together. So another one that's easy to have the second line. And
Mm-hmm.
speaking of easy lines,
Yeah.
our third line plays together in the KHL. The entire line, all three of them. We have Anton Slepyshev on the left, Mikhail Grigorenko down the middle, and on the right, Pavel Karnikov. Uh, Slepyshev's a guy that has NHL experience as well. He played for the Edmonton Oilers. I thought he played pretty well, and I'm surprised that he didn't get another chance at the NHL. Maybe this is his chance to do so. I know he was the captain at the World Championship last year. I think he's got a really dynamic forward. I think he can bring a little bit of everything and be a maybe part of that leadership group for this team. Down the middle, Grigorenko, he's another guy with NHL experience, but he's a lot bigger. He was a 12th overall pick by the Buffalo Sabres in the 2012 NHL entry draft, and he has a little bit more NHL experience. He's scored a bunch, but uh, most recently on the played for last year for the Columbus Blue Jackets. I thought he played pretty well. Uh, he's another guy, maybe an NHL contract. What do you think, Ryan?
Yeah, I've always liked Mikhail Grigorenko. I don't know if he's still NHL viable, but he's played well in the past for Buffalo and Colorado and Columbus. I thought he played well in Columbus in the 2020-21 season there, but who knows? We could see a lot of guys come get contracts, but I think only the kind of younger up and coming guys are going to be the ones to do that, or like aging veterans who are really only in the KHL for conditioning reasons for this tournament. Guys like Jason Demers for Akbar's Kazan, I believe he's in.
Mm-hmm. And then the on the right wing we have Pavel Karnikov. He's He's also really big, 6'3". He brings an intimidating part of this line, and he also we have him on the wing, but he also does play center on that line on the CSKA Moscow and the KHL, so he could take a few faceoffs as well. There's a lot of chemistry between these three, and I think this line is really gonna impress some people. This is might be my favorite line on this team.
My favorite line is actually the fourth line. I like the guys on this line. We have Kirill Semyonov, Sergei Andronov, and Kirill Marchenko. Semyonov, ex-Leaf, Leaf legend Kirill Semyonov, played only a couple games for the Leafs this year. Point per game for the Marlies, went back to Avangard just before all the virus stuff happened again in North America. Playing well over there, is probably better used in a top role, but I think can bring some offense to the bottom six here. I don't have the thing open. There we go. Kirill Semyonov. I didn't actually have this window open. There you go. Sergei Andronov has been the captain of SKA Moscow for a long time, 32 years old. He's a big leader. He's played with Russia for a long time. He was part of the last Olympic team that won the gold medal. This is a gold medal defending team. They got to bring some of those aspects back. And Kirill Marchenko, who we were thinking about putting on the top line, he's that good. He's got a nice shot, right-handed shooter, 21 years old. SK St. Petersburg has 12 goals in 39 games. A 21-year-old in the KHL is pretty damn good.
And another Columbus draft picked,
Yeah.
out of the KHL. They have a pretty deep scouting in Russia, the Blue Jackets. And that brings us to our 13th and 14th forwards, the extras. We have Arseny Gritsyuk and Dmitry Voronkov. Gritsyuk, he played with, I believe, Kirill Semyonov during the Channel 1 Cup. I believe there's some potential chemistry there. I feel like if he's going to slip in, it'll probably be a bottom six role, same as Dmitry Voronkov. He was a fourth round pick by Columbus, another Columbus draft pick out of Russia. There you go. So a fourth rounder in 2019. He's playing with Akbar's Kazan right now. I don't think he gets a shot. He has a big body, but I don't know comparatively to the other forwards if he has the skill.
I agree. I think their top guys are pretty set. We might see a little bit of maneuvering in and out. I know there's a taxi squad that we're not really covering. There's some extra guys floating around the mix here, but this is the gold medal defending from the Olympics anyway. Championship team. What do you think about the Russians? Or Team Russian Olympic Committee, sorry.
I hate it.
Yeah. It's okay.
There's a lot missing from this team. Like when you look at it, like why we were able to put Nikishin on the third line. He is only 20 years old. Are you telling me that, in the entire KHL that there are no better defensemen? Like, of course there are. Like, where's Nikolai Goldobin? Where's Stanislav Galiev? Where's Andrei Kuzmenko? There's Damir Zafarov. Where's Alexei Marchenko, the better Marchenko? Where's Andrei Sergeyev? Where's Andrei Mironov? There's a huge, list of guys. I feel like you could make like a whole Russia 2, whole other roster of guys that are kind of missing. Maybe not goaltenders.
Goaltenders, I think, are fine.
I like the goalies. But, there's a bunch missing, and I think that they have maybe a different idea for this team, something weird. I don't know, like a plan for it, which is why I think that they're going to maybe toss these lines up in the blender. Maybe they're willing to put actually play these 20-year-olds. Like, why bring them if you're not going to play them?
Yeah.
So, excuse me.
Yeah, they must like something about it. But yeah, I agree. There's a lot of names, like all the names you said. A lot of them are off this team, but they got their big guys there. They got their Shipachevs. They got their Voinovs. They got their Nesterovs and Dusev and the rest of the, other than core pieces. I think you could flip them around and still be successful. I still think they're a medal contender, personally. I think the Russians have a little bit of an advantage, to be completely honest, because of the KHL. There's such a huge amount of obviously Russian players in the KHL that they can pull from that are not in the NHL versus some North American teams and European teams, or more of them are in the North American leagues that can't play in this tournament. So I think Russia will be a medal contender, personally.
Yeah, when you look at like Shipashev, for instance, and the numbers that he's putting up and what he could be putting up in the NHL if he were there compared to some of the other, national rosters, their number one guys, like the only comparison I see is Eric Stahl as
Yeah.
being, a better kind of forward. Between those two, they might be the best two forwards in the entire tournament.
Yeah, I'm excited to see if we get a Canada-Russia game. That'll be fun.
Hmm.
We'll see how this tournament goes. I think Russia has a really easy path to the top of their group. They're with Czechia, Denmark, and Switzerland. I think they roll through that group. I think
Yeah.
Germany has a shot at. Sorry, not Germany. Czechia has a shot to maybe give them a little trouble, but I think they'll roll through Group B, be at the top of that, and then yeah, go from there. But we'll see.
Yeah,
Let
that's it for us.
let us know who you think should have been on this team, what the line should be, who you're most excited to watch on this team. I kind of want to see Fedotov and his 6'8" goaltender. Craziness that's happening in there. I don't know if I've seen him play live before, so I'm not sure if I quite understand how big he is, but that's the Dano Chara on skates in net. So thanks so much for watching. If you made it this far, leave a like, subscribe to the channel. We have more dope content coming soon. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Thanks so much. Peace.